So
Essentially everything that you're doing right now.
yes, yes, exactly. And so it was that bridging the gap aspect of it. I sat down, and so one day what I did was I started recording everything, well, writing everything down, like, okay, where are the pain points? What am I struggling with? Then I started with SOPs. Then I started with implementing the SOPs. And I noticed some of them would work, and everything has been trial and error on my own business, but I'm implementing everything. And it's just getting better and better with every transaction that we get and every client that we get, because now it's actually not just something we're theorizing about. We're actually testing it live, and we're implementing it and fixing it as it's happening. So everything from listing presentations to buyer presentations to when we get the inbound lead, how the conversation happens, the questions to ask, even we're getting so granular with it, even the questions to ask with what type of personality they are. So are they a D personality, a C personality? I mean, and then the question becomes then, well, how do you even identify the personality type? Well, then we need a question that's going to answer, that'll open that up. And, my favorite question of all time is asking people, how's it going? Because how's it going is open-ended. If you ask someone how they're doing, number one, it's disingenuous. We really don't care as people, especially if you haven't spoken to someone you've never met before. And you're asking them how they're doing, like, you don't really care, bro. Like, no, my cat passed away. It's like, oh shit, sorry. Well, do you want to sell, do you want to sell your house? It's like,
Right.
I'm cold calling it. So we don't ask that question. We ask, how's it going? And how's it going? Well, then it'll, depending on how they answer it, you'll be able to know right away, number one, what mood they're in. And the second thing we identify is their personality type. Are you a C? Are you an A? Do you answer slow, quietly? Do you answer aggressively? Is it short? Is it dry? And all those things. So everything we're testing and trying, we're seeing on a granular level how it's working out. And we're starting to see that, okay, we have some real traction here, because now we're refining it. And this is 10 years in the game. We're finally refining it to see very deeply. So I'm building that side out on the coaching side of things. And we started our school platform. And that's still a work in progress. But the other side is the whole winner circle thing with EXP that we're doing over here, the company I'm at. And that's actually part of the reason I wanted to talk to you, because right now I'm going to give you if you can give me about 10 minutes, because I want to share something. That I want to go into this little story about background of things that happened in the last couple of weeks. So this way, we can get, better acquainted. So I've, and this is the business opportunity I want to talk to you about. So about 3-4 weeks ago, I received a phone call from a buddy of mine here in San Diego, and he was telling me that there's going to be a mastermind at the office. It was going to be hosted by some guy named Mark Demas. And Mark Demas just so you have a little background on him, he's a broker out of Houston, Texas. This guy is independent. He owns his own company for the last 20 years. Last year, Mark Demas did 3,200 sales, and he did 971 million in volume. So just 29 million short of 100 million in volume, a billion, I think that would be at that point. So yeah, billion. So a big number this guy ended up doing last year. So he's having a mastermind. He's gonna come to the office. And I'll be honest, my intention was to sit down with this guy and recruit him into the winner circle EXP, because I have a movement, it's growing. I need a key player like that to help us take it to the next level. And that was my vision. So I took the meeting, I sat down. It's at this real office in San Diego called Realty in San Diego, down in Chula Vista. So I go down there, I take the meeting. We're sitting and long and behold, it's a pitch session to me. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, all right, well, I wasn't expecting that. That's a curveball. So it's Mark Demas out of Houston. It's his buddy Eddie Garcia out of Chicago. And then it's Max and Claudia Zaker from Realty in San Diego. So this meeting starts off 4 weeks ago, and Mark Demas goes first. He starts talking about his background, who he is as a person, and his family. Then Eddie goes. His family, he's like, hey, man, I'm from Guadalajara. I moved over here illegally when I was 7. I received my citizenship when I was 13 or 17. And, I came over here illegally. All right, cool. And that was the personal stuff. And then the second round of conversation was accolades, what everyone's accomplished and what they've done. Mark Demas goes on to tell me his 3,200 units, 971 million in volume sold last year. The number one guy in the country, and also the number one guy in NAREP for, I believe, 8 years straight. And this year, I think he was number 2 or 3. But 8 years straight, number 1. So this guy is like the guy when it comes to it. And by the way, he was telling me that, Gabe, I do all this with a 15-person sales team, and I think it's 30 or 40,
Wow.
30 or 40 administrative staff. So he runs a very lean team, and it's very profitable. Now, he's finished. And he says, all right, Eddie Garcia's up next. So Eddie Garcia, and this is the story, he starts telling me, he says, Gabe, my name is Eddie Garcia. I'm from, I told you I'm legal. I built a company. It's called Realty of Chicago. I'm the broker owner. I was a sales agent for someone else for a few years. And after I think 5 or 7 years, I opened up my own shop and I've never looked back since then. I'm ranked number 14 out of 11,000 brokers in the entire state of Illinois. And he said, I have 600 agents in my brokerage. And this is where it got really interesting here. Listen to this, Tay. He said, I have 7 verticals that come from my business. And I just opened up the first Latino real estate school in all of Chicago, Illinois, all of Illinois. So when someone goes to Illinois to get their license for school, they come through my school. And after they go to my school, they go to work at my brokerage. And anytime anyone buys or sells a home there, they use one of my ancillary services. So they use my title, my escrow, my mortgage, my construction company to do the rehab. I own the second largest all-state insurance company in the entire state of Illinois. We insure all their properties. He's like, bro, I make money. I monopolize the whole game. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, fudge, got these 2 heavy hitters who are killing the game. And I'm selling 70 houses a year, bro, in San Diego. So I'm like, okay. I was all right, man. So all right, y'all just broke my heart. So what's up? What are we doing here then? And then Eddie says this. He's like, all right, bro, we're not trying to brag on you, but this is why we're here today. He says, about a year and a half ago, I'm getting ready to retire, and I get a vision from God during my sleep at 2 a.m. And the dream is to build a nationwide company. And the company is going to be founded on a few principles. We want the company to be founded on professionalism, proficiency, production. We want our people to have not a balanced lifestyle, but we want them to have time and money. And we want to raise the standard of agents across the country. He's like, I want my agents dressing better. I want them speaking better. He's like, I want our industry to be looked at differently. And he's like, I was getting ready to start my family. He's like, but that vision was so compelling that I put building my family on hold for 5 years because I needed to pursue this vision. So in order for me to build a nationwide company, I needed to have the number one agent behind me to do it. So I called Mark Demas. I flew to Houston, Texas. I had a conversation and I told Mark about the vision. Mark told me he has a vision of selling 30,000 houses in 1 year. And this is where I stopped them. I stopped them. I said, wow, hold up. I'm like, Mark, do you mean you want to sell 30,000 houses in your lifetime? He said, no, Gabe, I want to do it in 1 year. And this is how I'm going to do it. And he proceeds to show me this whole plan. He has 25 silos I'm going to develop. I have administrative staff. This is how we're going to get the deals. And he's breaking it all down in front. I'm like, this guy is militant about what he does. It's not a joke. This isn't just wake up one day and I got a deal. So he says, I want to do 30,000 houses in 1 year across the US. And Mark tells me his problem. He says, my company's only in Houston and my clients transact, my hedge fund clients, because he works with 10 of the largest hedge funds in the country, 5 of the largest financial institutions in the country, and my clients transact everywhere. So I have to then broker the deals out to other companies who have different systems and processes. I need a company that's nationwide where I can streamline my business and do it. So when Eddie and Mark are talking, he says, this is kind of the thing I've been looking for. So Mark out of Houston asks Eddie this question. He says, I have 3 questions for you on one condition. First question is, will it have rev share? Will there be equity? And will you go public? Eddie says, absolutely. It's the future. Mark says, my one condition is when you go public, I'm ringing the bell at NASDAQ. And Eddie says, you got it. But here's my condition. I need the old Mark, the started from the bottom Mark. You're working 5 years straight, and I need you to close your business down if you're going to run this company with me. They both agree. So Eddie looks at me and he says, Gabe, I just took down the number one agent in a 5-minute conversation. And I don't know if that was luck, so I needed to go out there and test it again. He went to Victor Nino in Austin, Texas, the number one guy there, 100 million. He says yes. He went to the number one guy in Sacramento, Gil Torres. He says yes. He went to the number one gal in South Carolina. She said yes. And he said, you want to know why you're sitting in Real Team San Diego's broker right now in their office? I'm like, I don't know why. He says, they said yes. He said, this office right here, Real Team San Diego, is the number one team at Real Brokerage on the West Coast. They have 150 agents in their office. They have the most units, the most volume sold every year. and they're on board. And I turned to Max and excuse Claudia and Mo, and I said, "Didn't you guys just open up?" They said, "We did 2 years ago, and now
2 years, yeah.
yep, and we're open, and now we're closing down." And I said, "Oh crap, this is crazy." So they look at me and they say, "Gabe, we've just assembled the most baddest the most baddest sales team across the entire United States of America, and we don't even have a website. And in addition to that, um, it took EXP 9 years to get to 1,000 agents, and it took Real 4 years to get to 1,000 agents. As of right now, 4 weeks ago, he says, as of right now, we have just under 2,000 LOI commitments ready to move over. When we go live with this company, we will be the fastest growing company in history out of any demographic of people. We'll have over 2,000 agents going to go live." And then they're like, "Here's the cherry on top." They asked me to pull up my phone and asked me to Google who Dr. Peter Noble is. And I did. And they said, "What do you see?" I said, "The word Microsoft." And they said, "Dr. Peter Noble oversaw a team of 250 developers, and he reported directly to Bill Gates. He's the guy that developed all the Microsoft cloud products. He's responsible for doing that. He has an MBA, and he has this this guy's just crazy decorated in terms of his education." And we recruited him, and EXP recruited them into EXP in 2011. He built out 80% of the tech over there. Tamir recruited Dr. Peter Noble in 2019, and he developed 80% of the tech that the company still uses to this day. Well, guess who he works for now? Yep, you guessed it. He works for us. We just recruited him last year, and now he's our full-time partner over here, and he's developing the RevShare Model 3.0. So whatever did and didn't work best for those two first companies. And Dr. Peter Noble is the only guy on planet Earth that has ever taken two of the most successful cloud-based brokerages to market. No one else has ever done it on planet Earth. He's the only person who exists that's done it, and he has the blueprint, and we have him on our back end. In addition to that, we just recruited this fractional CFO from Real. She's a fractional CFO. She now works full-time for us exclusively. We recruited a Chief Growth Officer for Side. She now works for us exclusively. Gabe, we have over 150 years of C-suite experience. We have the most stacked C-suite. We have the most stacked sales team. And he's like, "We're not even public yet. We're not even live. We don't have a website." So the reason you're here today is because we hear you do good business, and we want to align ourselves with the top agents, and we want you to join the movement. And so I sit back for a second. I'm like, damn, in my heart, I said yes, but I just didn't want to show my cards. So for 3 weeks, I do my homework. Ultimately, I basically come to the decision of I'm going to do it. And I decided to go ahead and make the move. So last week, I sent in my resignation. Well, 2 weeks, a week and a half ago, I sent in my resignation to EXP. And mind you, I have something perfect happening at EXP. I have 220 people in my downline.
Yeah.
I have a revenue share of 12 grand a month, about 120,000 annually, and I have about 70,000, 65,000 unvested stocks and also vested stocks there. So there's a lot of things that are working well, and I have the biggest influencers in my group. But the opportunity that's in front of me at a ground level, an American company founded and led by immigrants, um,
That's
that
so amazing.
it's freaking incredible, Tay.
It's so
It's
amazing.
incredible. And to be at ground level, and this is the last thing they said to me before I left the office. They said, "This is someone, Gabe, whispering in your ear 15 years ago, 20 years ago, before in 2009, before Glenn Sanford went public. And this is someone whispering in your ear and saying this, that Glenn Sanford is about to revolutionize the real estate space and change real estate brokerages forever. You have an opportunity to get in." And I told my team this, and I told my leadership this. I said, "Look, guys, I'm tired of missing the boat. I'm tired of missing opportunity.
Exactly.
I don't get invited to closed door conversations about companies going public and launching. I missed Real, I missed EXP's boat, and I'm not going to miss this one. We have an opportunity to build a business focused on production alongside the best in the industry. And we have a business opportunity to capture shares at 20, 15, 20 cents a share and ride this out for the next 3 years when they go public. And that thing be evaluated at 25, 50, $100 per share at that point, because this will be the most profitable company. What we can gain as a whole is far greater than what we have right now. And I'm willing to give up what I have for what can be. And I want you guys to come with me. And the team said, yeah. And we ended up doing it. So we sent our resignation in a week and a half ago. This week, we initially executed our letter of intent. The company goes live next week. And so that's why we're on the call today, because I want to bring people in who have work ethic, people who that want to build, want to grow in terms of their production, and they don't have to be babysat and motivated and pushed to get things done. And then there's also that business component to it. There are people who want to recruit and attract and build on that organic side.
Yeah.
And I know we did some attractive things over at Visalis for a few years. So anyhow, that's where it's at, and that's where it stands, and that's why we're here on the call today.
All right. Well, so what all, I'm sorry, I'm thinking my mind's going in like 100 different directions right now.
I know I gave you a lot, so let me break it down. So the goal would be, I would like for you to bring your entire business over here with us at the new company, which would mean transferring your license. We already have a whole coaching program already set up of how we're going to do things. You know, it's called Winter Circle, where we host quarterly events in person. We have
I investigated.
Yes. So we have the Winter Circle that we do quarterly events. We have something called Winter Circle Wednesday, where every single Wednesday there's a different coach who jumps on and teaches on a different topic. In addition to that, Real Team San Diego, now known as Realty of America, will be hosting trainings in office and on Zoom on different topics such as contracts, NAR, anything you can think about. There are going to be tons of trainings that are going to be taking place there. So that'll be there for support. So Mo is the broker. We have a broker of California, of course, as well. Now that's on the training aspect. There's going to be a ton of support there. Now the company breakdown, how it works. It's an 85-15 split. It's a $14,000 cap. There's no monthly fees. There's a one-time startup fee of $200. It gets pulled out of your first transaction when you close it. There's a $750 annual fee for the company. It gets broken down into 3 transactions, 250, 250, 250. And it's a very simple financial model in that aspect. That's the production side. On the opportunity side, the main focus is to get 23 agents on your front line to build infinitely. But to keep it simple, you bring on 1 agent, you unlock level 2. You bring on 3 agents, you unlock level 3. You bring on 6 agents, you unlock level 4. And you bring on, I think it's 15, you unlock level 5. The company goes 5 levels deep. You can go infinite wide. And the only thing that these agents need to do is close 1 deal every 6 months in order to be considered a qualifying agent so that you can access to all 5 levels. The thing that makes this most different from any other company out there on the opportunity side is that once you go beyond that 5th level and you bring on 23 people on your first line, if you ever choose to build that big, then beyond that 5th level, you get paid infinitely. So now you're financially incentivized to go down there and help people on level 20, 30, 50, 100 to build deep. And the people that want to build big and long term will be the ones who get compensated the most. So that's on the business side of things. If that's something ever you want to go down, and that's something I'm willing to work with you on. But on the production standpoint, we have an opportunity to be alongside the heaviest hitters in the game who are actively in the business at a high level and be partnered up and working with these people side by side. So that's the production. And that's how the company makeup is.
Okay, would I be able to come to any trainings or meetings or anything that you have to just see how you guys work, see how everybody is and everything before I make that decision?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Absolutely. This isn't absolutely. You can check it out, jump on a couple of Zoom calls with us, come down to the office, get the culture, see what it's like. Where I know it's short notice, but today we're having the official launch party at our office at 6 p.m. The president, the CEO, Max and Claudia Zaker will be there. We're expecting about a few hundred people. So if you ever wanted to meet the C-suite team, they're all going to be there today at the San Diego office. So that's today. But again, if you can make it happen, I'd love for you to go check it out. I'm going to be there, of course, but that's today. And then, yeah, I mean, kind of plug in with everything over the next few days.
Okay, sounds good. Send me the address of the office and everything and any information about when I would be able to come down. I won't be able to make it tonight, which sucks because that would be amazing.
No,
But I might be able to figure it out.
if I'm telling you now, if you want to get a feel for the culture and you want to meet the C-suite team, and you don't even make it a long thing, come there for 30 minutes and shake some hands and meet some people and get a feel for it. Talk to some agents, ask some questions like, hey, why did you do it? What are you doing here? And get that feel for it, and then make your own decision afterwards. But even if you can't make it tonight, I'll still send you, either way, I'm sending you a text message with the days you can plug in.
Okay, sounds good. And I am going to talk to a couple of my people as well. I have somebody that in mind that would be an amazing fit, also an immigrant. So I want to talk to her as well, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
We'll
absolutely.
bring her down sometime too.
And Tay, start thinking of this too. Start thinking of, don't just think of people who are producing. Start thinking of people who are team leaders that you have relationships with. Start thinking of top producers you have relationships with. Think of people who have brokerages that you have relationships. Anyone that you have a relationship with, start thinking about them, because the value proposition for every stage of real estate is there. So for a broker owner who runs their own business, they can come over here and alleviate a lot of their overhead expenses, the E&O insurances, payroll. They come over here, they can do all, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it. And you put me on a conversation with them, I'll make sure to get them interested, and then we can move it up the ladder to the next stage and get them to meet the C-suite team and have that. And let me help you build on that aspect. So start coming up with that list and we can do it. And remember, right now, because it's so ground level and the company's not even out yet, technically yesterday was the launch date, but I haven't even moved my license over there because the company's not open yet. So the point I'm trying to make here is this is a ground level opportunity for us to take advantage of it and leverage my name, leverage my reputation, leverage my production, and say, hey, this is the guy I'm going into business with right here. Good dude, and I'll help you build it out.
All right.
So
yeah, everything sounds wonderful.
well, I'll send you the details and you just let me know.
I'm going to do some reading as well and investigation and talk to some people, and then I will definitely be in touch, and I'll definitely be seeing you soon.
All right. Sounds good, Tay. It was good chatting with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, like, just thinking of me and introducing me to the opportunity and everything, and giving me the chance to figure out where I want to go and what I want to do and how I want to grow.
Well, all I remember from us back in the day, and the reason it was so easy for me to call you was, ever since I've known you, you've had one of the biggest hearts. And despite no, I'm being honest, even despite anything that's like ever happened in life, I've always just remembered you being like such a good-hearted person and a hard worker. And you've never hated, you never had, that was never part of your culture, who you were as a person. You just like massive amounts of love from you. And look at us now, even years down the road, we can still jump on the phone like nothing ever happened. It's not even awkward. Like it's
at all.
That's so
it's like I
so
saw you
dope.
yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 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 And that's the dope part about it. So a pleasure's all mine. I'll text you all the info and you just let me know where you want to plug in.
Sounds good.
All right, Tay.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Am I recording? Yes. Okay. So storytelling is very important in the pitch. We're making sure that we're storytelling, but you're also actively listening to how they're responding. If people are starting to fidget, they're moving, they're starting to get irritated, speed it up a little bit, change your tonality, pause and say those things, and know when to slow down. And you have to keep them engaged, because all you have is their ear, but their eyes and their mind is everywhere else. So storytell effectively, making sure that you're talking about your authentic story, what really happened to you, and selling the story. And then afterwards, be transparent about the intention. This is what we want to do. Answer some surface level questions. You can never expect to close on the first deal, but if you're good at closing, you can close on the first deal, but don't expect to close on the first deal. What you can expect is that they want more information, and that's normal. This is a seed planting conversation. This conversation should take no more than 45 minutes. If you get really good, 25, but no shorter than 25. Ideally, you're doing these things in person, but because we want to go at scale, we have to do it on the phone, and we have to get really good at being on the phone. And then once you get them interested, you immediately move on it. So I'm going to text her immediately, send her all the information, get her the whatever I can get her, the flyer for the party tonight, the training schedule for next week. And then all I do is plant the seed, and I'll follow up like I'm supposed to do. But keep this in mind. The opportunity is so great that if someone doesn't see it right off the bat and they give you objections about it, they're not for you anyways. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore them. Answer the objections, answer the questions, be there supportive. Don't rush them and pressure them to move. Take your time with them. And when you do that, they're going to feel very appreciated, like she did, and say, man, thank you so much. And now her mind is starting to think, who can I go out there and start building with too? So very important stuff there. This is just one of the recruiting calls I'm going to do with you guys. I'm going to continue doing them more often so that you guys can hear how the pitch goes, how the close goes, and you can start taking from this and what works best with you. So we'll move on to the next.
Was party.
Not at all, brother. Not at all, brother. We work harder, play a little bit.
I want to be like you when I grow up.
Bro, I'm trying to be like you, Mr. International.
International.
Oh man, whatever. I know you got a lot of moves over there that you're making on the East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of everything, but keep wing to everything. Try to consolidate everything and make everything work. That's when I'm gonna start smiling. Hopefully, it's not too late in life.
No, man, not at all, man. I mean, like they say,
I need to know the cheese man first of all.
yeah, bro.
I'm caught by surprise.
Yeah, brother. So Monica and I ended up making a move away from EXP recently. Do you have about 15 minutes, brother, for this call? All right, cool. So give me about, I'm gonna explain the whole background so you understand what happened. So this way we're on the same page, so you understand. So I'm gonna give you the whole enchilada, brother. So just give me about 10 give me about 10 minutes so I can get everything out, okay?
Yeah.
So here's what happened. About 4 weeks ago, I got a phone call from one of my friends in San Diego, and he invited me to a mastermind. He said, Gabe, Mark Dimas is going to be here, and they're going to be having a private mastermind. Now, do you know who Mark Dimas is, bro?
I heard of him, but
okay, that's all right, brother. Let me tell you a little bit about him. So Mark Dimas is the #1 realtor in the country. Last year, he sold 3,200 homes and 971 million in volume, brother. Crazy numbers.
He's from Chicago?
Texas, brother, but his best friend is from Chicago. Yeah, he's from Texas. Yeah.
He said young kid too.
So check this out, brother. And his best friend is out there in Chicago, but I'll tell you about him in a second. So I get invited to the mastermind, and it's at a real brokerage here in San Diego. So I go to the real office, I go check it out. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I wanted to recruit Mark Dimas into EXP with me. So I went to the mastermind. I go inside of the room, and long and behold, it's a pitch session, and they're pitching me. They're trying to recruit me. So I'm like, oh, you got me. Okay. Well, so I'm sitting here, and it's Mark from Texas, it's Eddie from Chicago, and then it's the owners of Real Brokerage, Real Team San Diego. So it's just us three in the office. So first thing first, Mark starts telling me about his story about who he is. Then Eddie tells me a story about who he is, and then we go into business. So Mark says this, brother. Listen to this. This is what he says. He says, Gabe, I did 3,200 homes in 1 year. I do a 971 million in volume. I did that with 15 sales agents, and I did that with 30 staff members. So very tight ship he runs. He says, and Gabe, my goal is in life, I want to sell 30,000 houses in 1 year. And I stopped. Hey, brother, I said, I stopped him. I said, do you mean you want to sell 30,000 houses in your lifetime? He said, no, Gabe, I want to sell 30,000 houses in 1 year, and this is how I'm going to do it. He opens up his phone. He shows me his whole plan of how he's going to do it. Brother, he has it so dialed in, 25 marketplaces. I'm going to have admin. I'm going to do this. I'm like, whoa, I've never seen it done before like that, brother. So it was incredible. Now listen to this. So he tells me he wants to do this thing, but he says, I have a problem because I run my own brokerage in Texas. Houston, Texas, and I can't operate in 50 states. So I have to refer these deals out sometimes. And the problem is there's so many companies out there with so many different services and technology that they use. It's hard for me to scale my business. So I'm having a difficult time growing right now. And this is what he said next. He said, so what I want to do is I want to scale my business long term. And this is who he works with. Listen to who he works with. He works with 10 of the largest hedge funds in the country and 5 of the largest financial institutions in the country. The guy does, they call him when they, like, for example, the bank will call him and say, hey, sell these 300 listings for us. And he picks up big contracts like that, brother. This guy's the man, brother. He's the man. Then he says this. He says, and about a year and a half ago, I get a phone call from one of my best friends, Eddie Garcia in Chicago. And then I look over and Eddie's like, that's my part. I'll take over now. So Eddie looks at me and he says, hey, Gabriel, I'm from Guadalajara. I'm an immigrant. I came over here when I was 7. I got my citizenship when I was 13. And when I was 18, I got into real estate. 5 years later, I opened up my own company. And now I have 600 agents in my company. I do $500 million in volume every single year. I just opened up the first Latino real estate school in all of Illinois. I have 7 verticals that come from my business. I have construction, marketing, staging. I have cleaning. I have landscaping. I own the second largest insurance company in the entire state of Illinois. So anytime a realtor gets licensed, they go through my school. Then I hire them at my brokerage. And when they sell or buy a house, they use my services. I get paid at every single part of the deal, he tells me. He's like, every corner, brother. He monopolized it. And he's like, and I'm only 39 years old. And I'm like, ooh, I'm like, okay, this guy's a young cat. He's very smart. He's doing something right. So listen to this, brother. He says a year and a half ago, and this is only 4 weeks ago. I'm sitting in the office 4 weeks ago, and he tells me a year and a half, it's like 2 a.m, and I get a dream. I get a dream from God. God gives me a vision. I wake up, and it's to create a nationwide company. But he says it's not just any company. I want to make a company that is built on professionalism, excellence, and production. I don't want to do nothing else. I want my agents to dress better. I want them to speak better. I want them to produce more and sell more houses. And it's time for us to raise the standards in the industry as a whole. And I'm sitting there, brother. I'm like, man, this guy's speaking my language. Right. And then he says, but in order for me to build a nationwide company, I have to have the #1 guy in the country on the team. So I call Mark Dimas. I fly to Houston, Texas. I pitch the idea. And Mark Dimas asks me 3 questions. He says, is it going to have revenue share? Is there going to be equity? And will you guys go public? And will you guys go public on NASDAQ? And Eddie tells him, yes, all 3. I'm going to do that. And Mark Dimas says this, I'm willing to go with you, but under one condition, I get to ring the bell at NASDAQ when we go public. And Eddie tells
when the IPO goes public.
When the IPO goes public, but when we go public and the IPO is live, we're going to do it. And Eddie says, deal, but I have one condition from you. You got to close your doors, close your brokerage, and you got to go all in with me for 5 years, 24 hours, 7 days a week. We got to build this thing from the ground up. And then Mark says, I'm in. So they look at me, and Eddie looks at me and he says, Gabe, I took down the #1 agent in 5 minutes. He's like, I don't know if I was luck. So I called the #1 guy in Austin, Texas, Victor Nino. He does 100 million a year. He said yes to me 13 hours later. I called the #1 guy in Sacramento, Gil Torres. He says yes to me. I called the #1 girl in South Carolina. She says yes to me. And guess what? Do you want to know why you're sitting here inside the real office in San Diego? I'm like, why? He's like, because Claudia and Max Zaker are the #1 team in real on the West Coast. They have 150 agents. They sell 600 units a year. They do about a couple hundred million in volume per year. They're #1 on the West Coast. And guess what? They just said yes to us. They're like, Gabe, right now we're going around the country and we're bringing on the best of the best agents. We're bringing on the SEAL teams of realtors. And we heard about you. We heard that you do good business, that you have a good name, a good reputation, and we want you to be part of the journey. And then he says this next. He says, pull out your phone. So I pull it out. He says, type in this name, Dr. Peter Noble. I type it in, and he says, and he asks me, what do you see on there? And I'm like, it says Microsoft. He's like, Dr. Peter Noble used to work for Bill Gates directly, and he's the guy who built all of the Microsoft cloud products that you see on the Office 360. He's the guy who built it with 200, and he used to oversee 250 software engineers. Dr. Peter Noble did. And Dr. Peter Noble was recruited into EXP in 2011, and he's the guy that built the technology for the company. 2019, Tamir recruited Dr. Peter Noble into Real, and then Dr. Peter Noble created the IT over there. And guess where Dr. Peter's working now as of last year, 2023? I'm like, where? He's like, we recruited him over here. And then listen to this, brother. This is what he said next. He said, Dr. Peter Noble is the only man on planet Earth that has built the technology to two of the largest cloud-based brokerages, and he's the only man on planet Earth that has ever taken two companies public, two cloud-based companies public, and he works for us now. He knows what worked and what didn't work for both companies, and he's building a 3.0 version over here with us. And we just recruited the fractional CFO at Real. She works for us full time. And we just recruited the chief growth officer for, I think, Side, and she works for us full time. He's like, Gabe, we have over 150 years of experience on the C-suite team of people who have been there and done that at the highest level. And the president and the CEO, myself and Mark, are in the business actively at a high level, selling real estate with some of the biggest brokerages in the country. He's like, we have the best C-suite team and we have the best sales team. He said, this is an American company found and led by Latino immigrants. It's never been done. He's like, this is history in the making. He's like, we're going to have an opportunity to represent the culture and represent our people with excellence and pride. He said, it's not that Latinos were never good enough. We are good enough, but evolution hasn't caught up. Our grandparents came over here, then our parents came over here, and he said, now it's our turn, third, fourth generation, to start building this up from the ground up. And now we have an opportunity to change the trajectory of where our life goes. Kids are going to look at us and say, look at Latino immigrants built a public company from the ground up. Not an American company, not led by Anglo-Saxons. It's by illegal immigrants. And we're going to open the door for people to do that now. Are you in? And so, brother, I'm sitting there, my mouth drops to the floor. I couldn't believe what I was hearing and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, my blood was rushing, brother. It felt right. So I told him I needed to pray about it, talk to my wife. So I did. I left. I called my wife immediately. That was on a Friday. I called my wife immediately. I said, baby, I need you to meet these people, because my wife has a really good discerning spirit, brother. She'll look at you, she'll call you, she'll pull you apart, but like, oh no, this guy is real. She's fake. Like, she has a good spirit about her. And I took her and Monica Singer with me to Las Vegas, and I said, I need you to come meet these people. I took them with me, and both my wife and Monica said, we're in. We like it. I'm like, yeah, okay, everyone likes them. So, hermano, listen to this, hermano. For 2 weeks, I do my homework. I look at the company, I look at the comp plan, I look at the stocks, and this is what I found out. From a production standpoint, we have a humongous opportunity to be able to be alongside the biggest producers in the country, people who are selling houses at an active level. So when you're talking about increasing our business, our agents' production, we have an opportunity to link up with the #1 people in the country to build it right now, period. I mean, you heard this expression, brother. If you hang around 5 broke people, you're the 6th one. If you hang around 5 millionaires, you're the 6th one. And right now, brother, I'm #3 in the company. President and CEO don't count. Then it's Claudia, then it's Mark, and then it's me. I'm #3. So we're right at the top, right next to the president and the CEO. And we have the biggest producers in the country who are going to be helping us, coaching us, training us. And that's the production aspect, brother. Our teams have an amazing opportunity. Now, here's the business opportunity that I saw, that we have an opportunity right now at ground level, pre-IPO, pre-launch, to get behind a company and start it from the ground. So I told my wife this. I said, babe, I'm so tired of missing opportunities. No one calls me and says, hey, come on this closed door conversation and come learn a little more about this new company that we're going to IPO. No one does that. And I missed EXP and I missed Real. So you're telling me I have a second chance at doing this with the best C-suite team and the best sales team in the country, an American company founded and led by Latino immigrants, and I get to be on the forefront of it. I'm like, baby, I'm in. Let's do it. So last week, brother, I made the decision. A week and a half ago, I made the decision. I sent in my resignation. I called everybody. And they asked me why, and this is my response to them. I said, the market shifted last year, and it was it was very difficult for our agents to transition. People were in depression. The team leaders were feeling discouraged. Production was down. And when I asked my upline for help, and I said, "Hey, can you guys help me out with this?" They genuinely couldn't, because everyone in my upline, brother, and I mean this respectfully, everyone in my upline, they recruit. They don't produce. They don't sell houses, brother. And none of them have a team, none of them sell houses. So they, even if they wanted to help me, brother, they still couldn't help me if they wanted to. And so I would be a hypocrite saying at this company, and I'm doing good right now, bro. I'm not lying. I have 220 agents. I make $10,000 a month on my revenue share. I have $65,000 of invested stocks. Like, I'm living good. But if I stay here, it's for my selfish reasons and me only. But I know if I go over here, my team's gonna have an opportunity, and my agents will, to learn from the best people in the country. And so I sent them my resignation. I told them it was a hard decision. I got
that's a tough one. That's a tough one for sure.
and I ended up getting a lot of backlash, brother, but it was the right thing to do at the right time. And so, anyways, I ended up doing it. And so, yeah, brother, I ended up doing that. Monica saw, she did it. And that's where we're at now.
Yeah, so I saw it. I'm like, what is going on over here? Like, I'm like, what the hell is going on over here? And I'm like, I did a little digging. I'm like, okay, this is that, this is that. I'm like, holy shit. My eyes opened up. It's a huge. I mean, you guys were so invested into like the whole inner circle, the whole thing, and which to everybody's respect, I'm like, it's a great idea, but there was something there missing, and I guess that's the reason of the why he was at the edge twice and didn't jump into the water.
Wow.
Something is, and the reputation of these people.
Exactly. That too.
He's garbage. I mean,
I know.
it is.
Everyone thinks it's one big recruiting company, brother.
No, not only that, and you said one thing that hit the nail over the head. Everyone that you recruit doesn't produce. So that is the reputation that is out here. Like, we're like, oh, the revenue share. I come from finance. Like, if you talk about numbers, whatever a non-producer could produce, you could invest into a Roth IRA and a 401k. You could make a lot more money, and you own that money. Now the company also for 3 years and then get it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, brother.
$16,000 a year in a Roth IRA in 20 years makes you $1 million. So I was never impressed by that, but something was on it. And now that when I saw you guys jumping, I'm like, wait a second, what happened? So, I texted Monica. I said, Monica, what's happening? What's going on? She said, oh, you got a chance to talk? And I'm like, sure, I'm always open to talk to people. This is a collaboration business. This is not because you're from Mexico, I'm from Colombia. This is the same. We all the same. We always talk. We always have an opportunity. We never know what would happen. We'll be like, you know what? Let's do everything else. Let's do what I was going to do. Let's build from the ground up and move on. It's like being an architect. The main blueprint is never the blueprint. There is always correction, and there is time where the architect says, you know what, screw this, let's start all over again and bring in something different, and that's what happens. But it is crazy. So I was just like, what's going on over here? Like, I'm like, what? Wait, what group was true? And what did Leo say?
He wasn't happy, brother. He was, I tried to get him to look at the opportunity. I asked him to come by, stop by and sit down with us and meet the leadership, meet the corporate team. Unfortunately, he was just closed off to the entire thing, and he didn't want to entertain it. Yeah, he didn't want to entertain it at all. So, and it is what it is. I understand his position though, because this is his main bread and butter. This is all he does, and he earns, really good money. He earns about 40,000, 50,000 a month, just on the revenue share. And that's life-changing money. So it'll be very difficult for him to walk away from that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
What about Steve? He didn't want to do it?
Steve, the same thing. His focus is on the revenue share right now, and now that his team is starting to go into momentum, he didn't want to break the momentum and move everyone over. So, and I, that's his most of his revenue comes from the revenue share. He sells a few houses here and there, but his focus is he had momentum. He doesn't want to destroy it, and I understood that. I'm like, that's fine. That's your business model. But our business model is a little different. So, and
Right.
it's yeah.
So what are you guys doing as a business model
So it's production focused, brother. Everything's production
though?
focused. So right now the name of the game is to grow the production,
Mhm.
implement the systems and processes, help the team stabilize their businesses in this market, and then continue growing. So I'm stepping out of the residential. I'm going to the commercial space. That's the transitionary period that I'm making in. And in order for me to get there, there's a lot of relationships I have to establish. So
Yeah.
right now, from the production standpoint, there's a huge opportunity for me to connect with all these top brokers and agents across the country while Realty of America is starting to grow and while it's starting to build.
Right.
Yeah, that's the focal point.
Interesting. Nice. Wow. That's a huge one though.
Yeah, brother, it's big.
Huge, huge, huge. But going into commercial is like the best decision ever.
Well, that's where I picked up my first commercial listing about 4 months ago, 7 million. And
Cool.
so, yeah, oh, yeah, brother, it's a big one. And I got a couple of other commercial clients that I'm working with. Should be picking up on some additional commercial listings moving forward. But in about 12 months, I expect to be at an average sales price of about 15 million, 20
Okay.
million, just doing some of these bigger commercial transactions and really only taking on true luxury listings. So like 5 million plus is the number I'm expecting to be in. And then the goal is just go out there and duplicate it with the team, show them how to have these conversations, the people to be connecting with, how to manage their money, run a P&L,
Yeah.
all those kind of things we're talking about. Build an actual business.
Right.
Is that there?
So
Yeah.
did your whole team transition with you or some people left behind?
Some people left behind, and then some people came with us. Majority of them stayed behind, and some only a handful came with us. I'd say about maybe 30 from the entire group came with us.
Wow. Is that right? Oh,
It's fine.
wow.
Things happened during the transitionary period where I didn't have an opportunity to control the narrative of what happened.
Mhm.
And it got convoluted, unfortunately, through conversations, and that's all. But the opportunity was just too great, brother. I couldn't sit there and focus on what was happening. And if some people saw it, they saw it. If they didn't see it, they didn't see it. Um, I just can't let someone else's lack of vision hold back
Yeah,
what's out there.
definitely. No, I totally agree with that. I mean, once you see the issue, you see what it is. I mean, it's either you on or you off, and if you're not on, then well, about whatever you want to do in the future invaders, and no hard feelings, and people moving. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a transaction. It's a business.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. And if it's something you want to revisit, I know last time things didn't work out with EXP for whatever reason, like you said, there was something missing there. If it's something you're still interested in, let me know, bro. We'd love to have, Monica and I, or well, you know how we do, man. We're good people who do good business, and you're someone like that too, of that caliber. I think it'd be good for us to revisit that conversation and see where that leads. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
My thoughts are around it, like the whole starting from the ground up. So, that idea is enticing. It's actually like where it needs to be.
Yeah,
Is
the
is it
comp.
gonna be easy? No. Is it gonna be hard? Absolutely. Is it gonna be fun? Fuck yeah, it's gonna be fun.
That's my boy right there. There you go. That's what I'm saying. That's what I want right there. I want to put me to work, a ground level opportunity, and you're telling me we got to be at the top and build it and have real equity in the company. Just since you're a numbers guy, brother, let me share this with you. So they ran some preliminary numbers, and obviously these aren't concrete, but this is some of the preliminary numbers they discussed. Right now, they're expecting, just based on what EXP and Real did, um, EXP is a profitable company, but they don't have a lot of free liquid to innovate. Real right now, they're burning through cash. They're negative, so they're not a profitable company. Um, but
No. And
but
they won't be into the next 5 to 10 years.
yeah, some people are even thinking even sooner than that, because the founder is having to sell off a lot of his majority ownership. He doesn't even, he only owns 8% now of the company. So
Wow.
they're in a bad position right now as it is. But listen to this. So the data analysts right now that they're working with, because Realty of America has recruited so many cappers, top producers, within the first 90 days to 2 months, excuse me, the first 3 months of the company to 6 months of the company, the company will be profitable right off the bat because everyone's a capper and everyone's capping. So number one, the strategy was very smart, going after all the heavy hitters first. So they're immediately going to be into there. The second indication is that EXP took 9 years to get to 1,000. Real took 4 years to get to 1,000 agents. Um, Realty of America just launched on Friday, yesterday, and they launched with over 2,000 agents across the country. 2,000 in the company on day one. So being profitable, having over 2,000 of the best agents across the country, and as long as our production count grows at the level they're anticipating it, they think that when we IPO, we should start off somewhere around like 15 cents to 25 cents per share. And at the end of that first year, they're anticipating it to get to about $25 a share is what they're expecting. EXP at the height of the market got to $80 before they split off. And so they're thinking that being the company that we are with the amount of traction and hype and all of it, that we should be minimum at 25, but that's a very conservative projection that they're going with. So
Right.
here's the goal that they're asking everyone to do. Over the next 3 years, the goal is to get to 100,000 shares, and then a minimum is what they want us to get to. And it's a very easy thing to do once you look at the share model, how it breaks down. Very simple to do it. 100,000 shares. So by the time we IPO at 25 or $30, whatever that might be, there's a big chunk of your retirement. There's your down payment on that house, whatever you need, or your way to pay off your debt, whatever it might be. But whatever your story is, insert it there. But the goal is at IPO, we're all sitting on a couple 100,000 shares at that point. And this is what all the big dogs did at EXP and all the big dogs did at Real when they got in there early. So I think that's a good opportunity for something people like us who have that business acumen, that vision to build out from the ground level. Let's get to work. Let's sell houses. Let's do exactly what we're doing, but let's do it over here on a better vehicle with the number one producers in the country, the number one agent in the country, the number one C-suite team in the country. Let's do it alongside of these people, build our business over here. And the good thing is, bro, I'm bringing the winner circle with me. So the model that I had for coaching and teaching and retaining talent, I already have that. It's been a proven model. I did it for 2 years. I brought in 220 people in 2 years, and our attrition was low and our retention was high. We kept all the top talent with us because of what we led with, which is nothing but value. So there's just a lot of moving pieces that make sense for us to do it.
This is just like a race car. I mean, you start building it from the ground up. You put it to the first fence, and then you start tweaking things around.
Exactamente. That's it right there, brother. So if it's something you're interested in, man, well, anyways, that was the whole point. I wanted to share you with what we got going on right now. And I like the way you work. I like your reputation. I like your integrity. I like that you're real and you're honest. You don't sugarcoat anything. I think that's really awesome. And I think
That's the New Yorker on me.
oh, is that where that comes from, brother? The straightforwardness, that you being candid?
Yeah, I'm from New York. So I live in Florida for 10 years, but I'm a New Yorker, and I still think, walk, and act like a New Yorker. To me, it's like, don't give me the bullshit, because and on top of that, I happen to be Colombian, so you know how that.
Gee, my boy got the double flame. All right.
So
I see you, brother.
It's like straight up business. Talk to me about the numbers and talk to me about what we're gonna do. I don't. This is the thing. Like I was telling people, like I was having a conversation with a friend this morning, and we were talking about like money and flashy and all that. And I said, listen, if I have to be sitting down on a sidewalk and it's okay. And if I go to a fancy restaurant, it's okay too. Like I've been doing this person. It's gonna be. If I like it, it's fine. If I don't like it, fuck off.
Yep.
Simple.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So here's my vision, brother. And let me end it with the vision, and then you can kind of whatever your closing thoughts are from there. But here's the vision. The vision that I have is this. I want us to go out there and I want us to stabilize our teams, stabilize our production, All of us implement our systems and process. Let's mastermind with the best people that we're at. Let's figure out where everyone wants to go. Where does Edwin want to be? Who do we connect him with? Where does Gabe want to go? Let's connect Gabe with somebody. There's a top player for every division that they have coming in: luxury, commercial, residential, institutional money. There's a lot of connections that they have. So let's figure out where does everyone want to go, number one, and let's get them plugged in. That's the immediate, like phase number one, I guess you can call it. Phase two is for those of you, those who want to build, which I do see you doing it. And maybe you don't have a passion for it right now, but I do see you with the influence that you have bringing on agents in the organization. Let's train them up together. And hey, you get compensated via the revenue share for doing it. But I think phase two, we end up going there and we end up building that out. We got to do this alongside the best in the company. And then on the network side of the business, we got an opportunity to establish that. And whatever it is that you need help with, Edwin, you let us know. Monica and I know, hey, this is where I need support in my business. Plug me with this person. We'll make those connections. We have very strong ties to the C-suite team right now since we've been ground level for about a month with them. And then from there, if your goal is to grow and build it from there, whether that is seminars, trainings, whether that's community events, giving back, turkey events, toy drives, whether that's you want to travel the country, speak on stage, whatever the desire is, that's what Monica and my commitment is to our partners. We're going to go out there and make that stuff happen. But the vision is endless right now because it can go in so many different directions. At the fact that we're here before it blows up. The last point I'll add is this: there is a small sense of urgency, and this isn't a sales tactic, but it's a small sense of urgency. Honestly, because if this is something you're seriously considering, I would highly encourage you to get a letter of intent in, at least a secure position. And here's why. When I first sat down 4 weeks ago, they were at 1,200 agents 4 weeks ago. When I committed last week or a week and a half ago, when I finally committed, there were just under 2,000 agents. And now yesterday, as of yesterday, there were just over 2,000. So in 4 weeks, they had gained about 1,000 realtors in 4 weeks. By the end of this year, brother, the projections are 5,000 agents in the company. There's nothing that's going to be as fast as this right now, bro. You know how Latinos are, man. We can't keep anything inside for less than a minute. We're out there talking and blabbing away to everybody. So what I recommend is, if this is something you're highly interested in, start looking into it quickly, get your letter of intent, secure your position, and do your due diligence within those 90 days that it starts to expire, because you have 90 days from that to execute it.
Right, definitely. What I was going to share you, Dave, where is there more information about everything else that happens with it?
You tell me, when you tell me what it is you want to know, I'll get you plugged in. I'll send you whatever literature they have. Everything is still newish. So they don't have a full slide deck or a PDF on everything quite yet. I'm still waiting for the PDF deck on the compensation plan. Again, remember, the company just went live yesterday. So once I get all that stuff, I can send that over to you. You just let me know exactly what it is you need to know.
So how's it going to work with them being to be brokerage or managing brokers or brokers of records in different states? How's that going to work?
So the way that they're doing it is they're designating one anchor partner per state and initially one broker per state. The anchor partner has a responsibility of hosting the events, collectively getting people together, answering questions, creating community, etc. The broker will be responsible for overviewing the files and all that stuff already. So that's how they're doing it. It's the same way that Real EXP did it, just a little better, more efficiently. And they're already working on those things. And as the state starts to grow, they'll begin adding more support as it's needed.
Right. Because this is the thing, and we gotta, I'm an agent, so we gotta listen to our agents themselves. And I'm already like jumping change of domains over here, where like if somebody comes to me and said, if I want to make a real estate brokerage, what do I need? What is it that you hear every day? And clearly we know one of them is support, and second of all is money.
Yep.
Obviously, what do we want in exchange? And we give you all this. We want production.
Yep.
So
exactly.
That's basically where what I'm trying to say by that is like, have they gone through the process of it, like, we are brokerage in the 50 states, or we only the only broker right now, the only licensed broker in Texas or California or Chicago. Like, how is that process and how does that look?
Yeah, so they're only open in 9 states. Over the next 7 days, they're planning on opening 3 more states. And so they're not open in every state right now. And they are opening they have a plan of action how they're going to do it. The minimum requirements for a state to be open is they need 100 million in volume and 100 agents with a broker ready to go and an anchor partner. So those are some of the criteria that they need: 100 million in volume, 100 agents, a broker, and an anchor partner, someone with an office that has an established business that can take on the responsibility of having that. And that's the goal. So for example, I have a team out in Des Moines, Iowa that wants to come with me, but they don't have 100 million in volume and 100 agents, and they don't have a broker, so we can't open there quite yet. But that's where someone like, let's just say, for example, if you have connections in a certain state and I have connections in a certain state, we can combine those connections and say, hey, there's our 100 million, there's 100 agents, and you and I, Edwin, can be the ones who open up those new states together. Well, alongside Monica, of course, as well. But all 3 of us can leverage our relationships and put them together.
Gotcha. All right. So
compensation plan is 85-15. It's a $14,000 cap, no monthly fees.
okay, just like real.
Correct.
Okay. And I'm assuming there's a transaction and stuff like that. You know,
Correct. So once after you cap, it's $250 for the next 20 transactions.
got it. Okay. So somewhat a mixture of EXP and real.
Yes. And then the difference is in the compensation plan for the revenue side of the business. If you want to develop that side, it's a 5-level model. So you go down 5 levels. To unlock level 1, you need 1 agent. To unlock level 2, you need 3. To number 3, you need 6. Number 4, you need 9. And then number 5, I believe it's 15. It's 23. And then once you get to 23, you unlock all 5 levels. But here's the beautiful part. EXP and Real, you can only get paid on level 5 or 7. And then if you, like, for example, I'm at EXP, if I had someone on level 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I don't get paid on nothing like that. And so for someone like Leo, who has 20, 30, 40, 50 levels, he doesn't get paid anything on that. But listen to this. They just announced yesterday that as long as you unlock, if you got 23 people on level 1, you get paid on infinite levels. Now you have financial incentive to go down there and build with all your people. It's true collaboration. Now you're not going to stop and say, I'm not getting paid on you, I'm not going to help you. And that's what happened at EXP.
Right. Makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Makes total sense. That sounds good. All right, brother. Send me some information. Keep me posted. I like what I hear. And I want to dig more into it because, hey, listen, if I'm the pioneer in my area, I could actually accomplish a dream in life.
That's
If you understand what I'm trying to say.
That's exactly why we're on the phone right now, brother, because I saw what you saw. I want to be the first one here in San Diego with the partners. And there's a couple of states, and you got an opportunity there in your community, in your state, to be the first one, if not one of the first ones.
Yeah, it's not one of the first ones, and my vision is very open, especially internationally, which is when I got to jump on a phone call in a little bit because there's doors that are open now, and sometimes I feel that we are capped because of corporations, that they don't move outside wherever they need to be. And that's where it's at right now in life. But there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Exactamente.
That I'm like there is a vision, but it's very blurry, and I need to figure it out. Where is it going to go and how is it going to go? But it's just like, I don't know. I keep hitting the same wall, and I need to figure it out. But I think the only figuring it out is if I'm on the top, not in the middle, not on the bottom, not in the last.
Well, like I told you at the beginning of the conversation, Edwin, I'm literally number 3 in the company, brother.
Right.
And you're right there with us.
You're higher up, brother.
No, but brother, listen, brother. Monica's number 4, and you're gonna go underneath Monica. That's number 5. You're top 5 with us, bro. It doesn't
Right.
you. This is as early as it gets. You're literally top 10. You'd be number 5 in the entire level. You're right
Right.
there.
Right. Are they licensed in Florida yet? Or have the lounge shop market yet or no?
I don't know if it's Florida's open yet. I'll find out.
Yeah, let me know.
Mhm.
Give me posted. You got my number.
I got your number, brother. I'll do that. And then while I'm out there doing some research, what do you want me to start gathering for you specifically? What's important to you so I can start working on that?
Well, what's important to me is just like the whole operation, how this is a brand new business. You know, it's a brand new business period. Like how we're gonna how the vertical column is gonna be built for the function of the body,
Correct.
you know. Because every state has its own gimmicks and every place has its own kinds and everything and where is the vision going? I wish that's some of the vision of the company. Where's the vision going? What is it that you want to do in 3, 6, 9 months, 12 months, 36 months? So everybody's on the same page. Like, what is it that we want to accomplish to the bunch? We want to accomplish agents. We want to be recruiting machines. That's fine. There is a lot of people that do that, headhunters and everybody else. You know, where do we empower those people coming in and building a business and also making them produce at the highest levels possible and all and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Because there is a company which is awesome. She's like, okay, let's start this, let's do this, right? Whatever. But it's also like, okay, now we're in it. What do we do? What do we do from now on? We got to feed our family. Well, where we're going, you know, what we're going to shift and change. Because I'm the type of person that I don't take behaviors from another company. What I do is I'm here today. I'm the new guy. I don't know shit. Let's get it done. Let's learn. Because my way might not be the perfect way. Your way might be the perfect way. So I want to see your way and then I implement my way and make a new way.
Then you know what I need to do? I need to get you on the phone call with leadership is what I need to do. I need you to get to I need you to get to meet them. So this way you can have a conversation with a couple of the people, the anchor partners on the West Coast. I want you to meet them. I'll get whatever literature I can get over to you via PDF so you can review it. But I also want to get you on the call so this way you can get to know who you're going to be in business with and you can have that conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll work on that, hermano. And then last thing, I'll send you an email once we get off the phone with the LOI. Take a look at it. My recommendation, brother, and you already know me. You've known me for I think about a year now. I've never pushed you. I've never pressured you. But this is literally just coming from a sincere place of like, listen to me carefully that it's moving fast and secure your position while you're doing your due diligence. It's like an earnest money deposit in escrow.
Yeah.
So review it, and if you want, sign it, hold your position, and then in the meantime, I'll work on everything else for us. Dale. All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Gracias. All right. Bye. Okay. So he's a different personality type, you know. Initially came off as a very fun guy. I don't know him that well, but we talked a little fun as I got to know him a little more. He's all about business. He's very sharp. And he's way more educated than he comes off to be in the very beginning of the conversation, which you didn't get a chance to hear all that conversation, but very educated guy, finance background. So what does that mean? It means that we treat him with that level of respect. We speak his language, short, to the point. We don't ramble. And we get to the point. So yeah, I brought what was important to him. But as a salesperson, you got to be closing. And because he is a high D personality and he's also a very analytical personality, I can't tell him to do something. I have to make a strong, soft recommendation. Strong in the fact that my words are going to be strong, soft in my delivery, and then it has to be a recommendation, not something you need to do. So strong in my words, soft in my delivery, but I have to make that recommendation. Hey man, here's my recommendation. I'm going to email it to you. Now, success loves speed. I need to do that right now as soon as I'm off the phone. Don't reply to text messages. Don't pick up social media. Don't pick up the phone call. Send that out right now so it's fresh in his mind and he's excited about it. There's something called the law of diminishing intent that states that as time progresses, people have the intention of doing something. And as time progresses, the intention dies down. So the law of diminishing intent. We don't want people's intent diminishing over time because we took too long. Good call.